One of the things that helped me stay true to myself and stay focused and grounded. Also, staying in a path of authenticity is my inner child. Because of my background, I neglected my inner child for a long time, and then I allowed others to neglect my inner child as well. Um, I come from, like, whoever has been following my story. I come from like a trail of severe abuse, right? And started neglecting my inner child for a long time, like at an early age, to the point that I forgot that that was a thing, like that my inner child was a thing. And then when I started my healing, um, I was entrusted into healing. Like I was pushed into it. It was like I was called, right? And I had to answer my calling. And in answering my calling, I needed to heal. I needed to go back and look into the things that hurted me and how I also hurted myself by abandoning myself, because I have a history of people leaving me, right? But in people leaving me, I realized that I had left myself a long time ago. That's why I kept attracting people that left me. So it wasn't them that was the problem, it was me. It was my relationship with me that was the problem. So instead of like looking at them and being like, damn, they always leave me, why, blah, 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 right? I was like, damn, I always leave myself. Even while I was in this relationship, I had already left me, right? So why wouldn't this person leave me if I had abandoned myself? I would make myself be suitable to what people needed me to be. Therefore, I would abandon myself. And so when I understood that I needed to cater to my inner child, not only be in the energy of, like playful and like a child type of scenario, but really cater for my inner child. Not abandon my inner child. So, for example, if I said that I was gonna do this and I didn't do it, I had to start taking responsibility for that and acknowledging it and seeing that I was abandoning myself. When I don't do what I said I'm gonna do, I'm abandoning myself. When I choose to not um, cater to my boundaries or make my boundaries valid, like basically respect myself. When I choose to not respect myself, then I'm not respecting my inner child. So I'm wounding my inner child. So the point being with all of that is that when it comes to healing, it starts with our inner child. Like, in order for us to rise up to the different levels of healing, we have to start from the basics, which is our inner child. That's why, like, a lot of times when I come up here and I speak about like the secret societies and the karmic families and things like that, I usually refer to them as wounded children. The reason being that they got like that because they were hurt as a child and they never nurture that child. So that child is now and like inside of an adult's body, but like um pissed off. Like, how, well, those kids that don't have any discipline, that are like just like throwing tantrums at the supermarket or at the mall because they didn't get the toy that they wanted, or the food that they wanted. Those kids like that. That's how we become as adults when we don't deal with our inner child, with our wounds, right? Because everybody gets wounded at some point throughout their childhood, and some are wounded at a deeper level, right? But then as we grow older, it's not anybody's responsibility to heal us. It becomes our responsibility now because we have evolved into adults. So now we got to pick up the pieces and heal. You know when Jesus said, pick up your mat and walk? He meant pick up your wounds and heal. I'm just saying. But that's my experience, that I had to cater to my inner child. And I cater to my inner child on a daily basis and in multiple forms, right? Because since I was raised by a karmic family, and I endured outrageous levels of abuse and neglect and abandonment and rejection, right? So those same things that were done to me, I have to like do the reversal towards it on myself as an adult now, which is why like as an adult I had issues with like boundaries, and I had issues with commitments, and I had issues with keeping things in order and like putting myself first, because nobody did it for me. So I continue the pattern of neglect and abuse onto myself. Why? Because I don't know. I don't want to make excuses for myself, but that's just how I was. Like it was to the point where even like with my house, like let's say like the dishes, right? At points, or like before, I would let the dishes pile up, right? Now I don't do that anymore. I go ahead and I keep the kitchen clean, I keep the house clean, I keep the drawers in order, right? Because it's a form of self-care, it's a form of self-love. So we don't like, when I think about like self-love, I don't think about it like, oh my god, I'm gonna go shopping and go on a shopping spree, or like I'm getting my hair, my nails, and like I do that too. Like I do my hair and my nails and stuff like that, but most importantly, like I'll do the tiny things. Like now I walk the dog the amount of times the dog needs to be walked. I take care of my house. I do things like I don't leave the laundry in the laundry machine. I'll go ahead and fold the clothes and put them away, because I learned that was like a form of me caring for myself as well. So the point being is that with healing, we have to cater to our inner child, and that's how we get into balance, like with our inner child, and then we go to our teen years, and we go to like our young adult years, and then we go to the adult years. So like you have to start with your child, like your inner child, like when you were a little girl, a little boy, and then when you were a teenager, what happened there, like do the opposite of what happened there towards yourself, so that you could start healing. And that sometimes is hard because of the different things that we encounter and the people that were the ones that did the things that they did. But then again, if we go ahead and we use the technique of identifying what spirits were operating in us at that time, or what spirits were operating in others, and if we're able to see that those same spirits were operating on these people at that time and on us during that time, and then it carried over all the way till now, we're able to remove them quickly, right? Because you could say, oh my god, you've been a jealous cunt. I'm sorry. You just been operating with the spirit of jealousy since I was 4 years old. I'm 36 now. We're still doing this, right? And you're able to like detach the person from the spirit, and then you're able to like forgive them and heal, because you are forgiving the person, and you can forgive the person by like you're probably a wounded children. You probably got jealous of someone and decided to hate. You know how there's unconditional love? Some people operate from unconditional hate. Imagine what that feels like. I don't want to. I rather love. Even if I'm hurt, I choose love. Just because, like, who wants to be, like, you've been upset since the 1800s, huh? I'm sorry, I'm not a Christian. I'm just saying, like, instead of unconditional hate, we could choose unconditional love, and that way